In our Cultivate series from 2021, we spent a weekend unpacking multiple practices that develop our walks with Jesus. And you've also heard some stories from our music team leaders who unpacked their personal journeys and the ways that each of our team cultivates the practice of musical worship in their own lives. You're here today, I suspect, because you're seeking out next steps for your personal practice and posture, specifically as it relates to musical worship. This is a topic that our team is obviously super passionate about, and it's a much bigger topic than what I'm going to be able to cover in just a couple of minutes. And so stay tuned. We hope to flesh this out more in a series of resource videos in the coming season. But for today specifically, let's talk about one aspect, that's what I've got time for, one aspect of our preparation for musical worship. I'm recording this video in April 2021. We're still gathering digitally. It's been a long time since I've been in a congregational worship setting. And like many of you, I miss that. But the core of what I'm talking about today, it applies whether you're walking into an auditorium with thousands of other people here at Trinity, or you're sitting on your couch in your living room and you're about to tune into a digital weekend service, or maybe you're on a walk and you're just about to throw on that Spotify playlist. Again, I mentioned this is one aspect of our preparation that I'll be talking about today, but here it is. Am I bringing an understanding of what God has done into my response? Am I bringing an understanding of what God has done into my musical worship response? Or to ask it in a simpler way, before I enter into a musical worship environment, why am I worshiping God today? To ask that question. You see, we believe that musical worship, it is a response to how God has shown himself to us. God reveals himself to us, whether it's through scripture or a word from someone else, a life circumstance, or maybe it's just that pit of your gut prompting. And then we turn that around and we respond to what he has shown us. He reveals himself and we respond. And so this weekend, before you throw yourself into that Spotify playlist or you turn on the weekend, ask yourself a few questions before you respond. What has God done this week that causes me to thank him? What has God done this week that causes me to be amazed by him? What circumstances of my week are causing me to look for refuge? And what circumstances of my week are needing me to stand firm on his promises for me? See, oftentimes when I'm stepping into a moment of musical worship, whether I'm leading or whether I'm standing in the congregation, I will have one or two key answers to these questions on the top of my mind. You see, these very real to me realities are what I'm declaring truth over in a musical worship context. It's not as much of a setting my personal life and thoughts aside so that I can sing for a bit and then I can pick up that life and those thoughts and just carry on afterwards. Instead, when we declare God's character and truth over our circumstances, our answers to these questions that I listed before, that's often where God shows up and he reveals himself again. And then, once again, it's our turn to respond. You know, when you think of it this way, it kind of puts our eternal worship of him into perspective, doesn't it?